Yo, this is Josh at Nomad Business Coaching, and I wanted to come to you live with a special edition of Ask NBC. You may have noticed this weekend we've got our Nomad Way Business Owners Retreat coming up. And of course, you can purchase single days to the retreat if you aren't able to make it for the whole thing. So you could just come for a Saturday or a Sunday if you live locally in Florida here. But we're also going to live stream the Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday events. So on Friday, we're covering pricing and schedule, Saturdays on sales. And Sunday, that's what I'm going to talk about in this episode, is about marketing and retention. Now, marketing and retention are something that I've put together on purpose because you may have seen my videos out there talking about how we're now in the era of marketing in the yoga realm of reality, especially in yoga business. And understanding this will fundamentally change the approach to your business. But most people don't understand actually what that means to be good at your marketing process. And the one thing that I really notice is that if I roll into a studio that I haven't been to before and we start talking yoga business, we inevitably end up at the question, usually really early on how do I get more students? How do I get more people to come in? Yoga studio owners really think that they have a product and a business and a staff and a crew of people that are so attractive and so awesome that if someone was to come in, they're going to keep that person. And when we pull the numbers and do KPI reporting on these businesses, they are usually shocking to the owner. Now, I'll tell you right now, from Mind Body University, we have the stats on all class-based systems in the yoga world that use Mind Body. The average retention rate coming off an intro pass, so a new person coming in, doing an intro and ending up on any other membership whatsoever, is low. It's like 20% to 25% is what you're shooting for. Your goal would be to create 50% retention rate of those people, but almost nobody can do this. If you're in the hot yoga world, it's lower. You're down in the 18, 17, 16, and 15% range. And if you're in a specific lineage hot yoga, such as Bikram yoga, and you really only offer 90-minute, 26 and 2, 40 degrees Celsius yoga classes, the average is like 13%. It is really, really low. So what does this mean? It means that we've got to get better at retention. So make sure that you stream in on Sunday. We'll do our retention and marketing. And I put them together again because retention actually falls under your marketing protocol. So back to the story, if I am in a studio and they ask me, how do I get more students in the door? I can't even go down that road of how we can get more people in, how we can get better at our external marketing and our advertising until we've cleaned shop and decided on all of the different factors about what are we going to do with the person if we get them in. If we go and get 100 people to come in this weekend, what will happen? Will we get any of them? Will any of them even go on our intro? Will any of them come back for a second class? Will any of them come back for the 5 to 10 classes necessary to really get amped up on us and join our community? And then will they convert onto a good membership such as our AutoPay? We have to ask these questions first. And the truth is, most studios are doing very little, some are doing nothing, and a lot of them are doing the same stuff. So if you use Mind Body, for example, surely you have your Mind Body auto emails going out, at least I hope. But what does it say in the emails? Are they with the video? Do they have a picture? Is the message good? Is there a call to action? How many times do they go out? Because you right now as a studio owner probably use Mind Body, but here's the truth. Someone down the street who's a yoga studio owner, they also probably use Mind Body. So if you just have the blanket Mind Body auto emails going out, the message that you're sending is exactly the same as the message they're sending. And now we have a problem because when the student is looking to potentially commit to being part of your studio versus going and dabbling in all the yoga studios, which is a common practice in the consumer aspect of things right now, what ends up happening is that they start to differentiate you from the other people based on convenience and price. And the truth is, that's not really the way we want to set up our sales structure. So we'll get more into that when you come onto the weekend. So I wanted to talk about what is the actual value of a customer. Now, one of the ways you could look at this would be the average number of people that you have in your classes, and then you divide that number by the total number of dollars coming in. And that would give you an indication that if you average 10 people a class, the spots, that one of those 10 spots in the class equals $10,000 or something like that. But it's not specific to the individual. So we've got to get a little bit hypothetical. If a student comes in and they buy your intro, and then they end up on your auto pay, and they're excited about your business, then they probably also buy a mat. I'll try to write bigger so you guys can see this. Maybe a pair of shorts, a water bottle, and they're going to buy a couple of coconut waters. Throughout the life of their time spent at the studio. Well, let's say they put a workshop in there too, because you're smart and run workshops. Okay, so if we put this all together, we've got maybe $40. The auto pay, we're going to say they're on it for, on average, we're seeing in the industry 3 to 6 months. So let's go on the big side even and say 6 months, and we'll make it easy and say it was $600 because you have $99 a month auto pay. They buy a mat, and you sold them a Way mat, a We Are Yoga mat, because you're a hot yoga studio and it sticks to the carpet and soaks up the sweat and is very nice and looks cool to have on the floor. So they spent, you could sell it for probably $70. Pair of shorts, we'll make them accessible, so they're $40. A water bottle, you sell them a Hydro Flask or a Namaka bottle, so that's another, let's say $35. And coconut water times $2 of coconut water, and you sold them 10 of them, so we're going to put into your $20. And a workshop, they spend $50 on a workshop. So as you can see, we're well over $700 of value for getting a student through our pipeline and into our auto pay, and then them buying these other things. This is the goal value of a student that you would have. So every person that walks in, you would hopefully try to get them through this situation. Now, realistically, it's not going to happen, but on the other hand, you'll get some students stay on your auto pay for 10 months and they buy 2 mats and 3 shorts and a shirt and other things as well, and they'll bring that average back up. So this is maybe more closer to the average value that you have in a student. Now, the reason I bring this up is that the expense of acquiring a new person is always going to be much higher than it is to retain a person that you already have. So the only way you have an opportunity to get this person from the intro and then through 6 months of auto pay to buy the mat, shorts, the water bottle, coconut water in your workshop at the end is you've got to retain them. You've got to keep them in your business and keep them engaged in what it is that you're doing. The stats show that people who are already part of your community are 70% easier to sell to than people who are not. So they're more likely that you're going to be able to sell them something, 70%. Versus a brand new person, the industry average, again, we're down at like 20% likelihood that you're going to sell them anything at all. So you want to make sure that you're selling to the existing clientele, but you've got to keep them around long enough to do that. Now, the other thing is 50% more likely to try a new product. So if you're a yoga studio and you bring in Waymat's new Neo mat, which is like a neoprene mat, sticks to the floor, lays super flat, soaks up the sweat, it goes in the washer and the dryer. It's so epic, this mat. You bring it in because it's brand new in North America, no one else has one, and it costs $80. That's a big jump for some people to jump onto a mat. If they're a brand new student, how likely is it that they're going to buy this mat? They might, but not very likely. On the other hand, your existing clientele, highly likely to buy it. And the stats show 50% more likely to actually buy something from you, to buy another product, than a new student is. So way easier to sell them future things as well. So that's where we get into our mat right here as well. And on average, they're going to spend 31% more dollars than a new student is going to. So if someone is new and they're dabbling or they're not really committed yet, you don't have them on your auto pay, even when they buy something, they're going to default to the lowest commitment level, which may be lowest financial level for them as well. So it's important to take note of this. Now, retention equals something that's kind of fascinating, and I had to show a lot of the crew at Mind Body University. I was on the phone with them yesterday on a Skype meeting, and I was telling them about what we're seeing on the ground, having been to all these yoga studios over the last year, over 100 yoga studios in a year. What are we seeing in terms of retention and the correlation with revenue? Because there's a lot of stats on small business about this, but maybe not so much specifically with the yoga industry. And what we're finding is really, really fascinating. So for those of you out there, you know, the Bikram Yoga Studios where we're saying the industry average is like 13% retention, it seems like it would be impossible to jump from 13 to 25%. But here's the good news. You don't have to jump right away up in huge leaps and bounds. You don't have to go up 10%. The stats we're finding is that if you can increase your retention by only 5%, the minimum increase in revenue is usually 25% or more. In some cases, we're seeing 5 to 10% increase in retention, equaling 80 to 90% more revenue in the business. It's like an enormous amount. So if you're the kind of business where you're a little stressed every month to make sure you're making your lease payments and paying back the bank and paying your teachers, and you think, I need to get more students in, that is probably true, but the stats are showing us it costs less money to keep a student, and if you can increase that hard retention rate by only a few percent, 2, 3, 4, 5%, you will immediately by the end of the year see significant increases in your revenue. So it's way more efficient for you to work on your retention. It's always cheaper to attract someone back who's already vetted themselves as interested in your business. So part of your retention is also the long-term game. And on the retention day on Sunday, we're going to talk about this. I'll give you the specific reports in MindBody. I'll give you a template. I'll give you an email download. I'll give you everything necessary to launch this right now. And I'll even let you know of the add-on products that you can do with MindBody, for example, that would automate this for you if you haven't got it happening already. But the point is, it's way easier to get someone to come back. So if I've taken the effort to get my butt off my couch, get in my car, get my fancy shorts on, get my mat, my water bottle, drive down to your yoga studio, buy your intro, take 6 classes, but then life happens and I don't come back, it's still not over your effort of retaining me. In 6 months from now, I've already expressed interest in your business. I am at least 50% more likely to end up back in your business. But I probably need a reminder. So this is where you do like comeback campaigns and email all the people who haven't been in for a while and give them maybe a special offer or let them do your intro again. And there's a lot of ways to do this, and the details of how you do it really do matter. But the point is, retaining those people is way easier than getting new people to come back in. So on Sunday, we're going to talk about that specifically. We're going to cover exactly how to do some of these things. And this all ties into, remember I said we're going to do retention and marketing at the same time. This all ties into your marketing. So yes, you need to market. Yes, you need to get new students in, but you need to retain students. So their engagement level needs to be high. They need to be actually utilizing your product. They need to actually believe in your product. They need to see the results of your product. So you have to be constantly marketing to them about what it is that you do and offer and how good you are in all the multiple different ways. Because to begin with, there's almost too much to cover with students. So important to do that. Now, the one thing about retaining more people as well, especially when we're tying into marketing, and this is really important. If you retain somebody and they're happy and they stick around longer and they've invested in their health and in your products this much, they are 87% more likely to write you a referral and to write you a review online. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that the number one way for you to get other students in is your existing clientele. Your existing clientele refers new students coming in. That's the most efficient way, the most effective way, the most likely way for you to get new students in. The number 2 way is if I'm brand new and I don't know anything about yoga, I'm going to go online now. I'm going to go on my phone and I'm going to look. And I'm going to look at the top 3 results in Google, and I'm going to look at the reviews. Because to me, yoga is yoga is yoga. So whichever one has the highest review level and the best reviews being written up, significantly more likely to convince me to come in. How do you do that? You need to retain clients. So it's all cyclical. It all ties in. It's all something that sort of intertwines. Business isn't one channel, one channel, one channel. It's multiple channels that are interwoven between each other. So tune in on Sunday if you want information about how to do the live stream, how to get your retention totally amped up, to get access to all the templates, to get access to all the emails, to be part of the discussion live as it's going on. And we'll even give you a copy of the video afterwards. So if you forget or you missed a part because you had to go to the bathroom, you'll have a copy to be able to watch as well. Just comment down below and say, I'm interested, and we'll reach out to you on Facebook. We'll get your number, we'll get you on the horn, and we'll just talk about what we need to do next, but very simple for you. Anyways, Hopefully this helps. See you this weekend. Peace.